Let me just quote you a few statistics on small business in the state of New York. 99% of all of the businesses in New York State are technically considered small businesses. There are over 452,000 minority-owned businesses in New York State, over 505,000 women-owned businesses in New York State, and small businesses are creating approximately 86% of new jobs that are being created in our state. So I am really very appreciative for Senator Gillibrand's focus on small business, her clear and keen understanding that small business is really the engine of employment and opportunity for us in New York State. So it's my great pleasure to introduce our United States Senator, Kirsten Gillibrand.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Well, I want to thank you, Mayor, for your leadership. You've been an extraordinary partner for me on the federal level. The Mayor and I are working on so many initiatives to create jobs, to create greater tax credits for small businesses, and to really make sure our families can provide for their kids. I really appreciate your leadership and vision for this great city, and thank you for your dedication.
Thank you, sir.
I also want to thank Diane. Thank you for your leadership and vision, and your name?
Jordan.
And Jordan for his extraordinary work. I just had the benefit of touring their farm. It's unbelievable. You should all, the press in particular, take a look out, film it. It's amazing. They're growing fruits and vegetables. They also have aquaponics where they are growing fish, tilapia, that can be used in local restaurants. It's amazing. The work is really, truly inspiring, and what they're going to do is expand these facilities. They have a very small, modest hothouse right now that they're going to change and make into this. How big is it, the new one?
It's 96 feet.
Yeah, it's like it's as big as this room. It's huge. It's an enormous greenhouse that they've just created that they're going to be expanding how many fish they can actually grow. So it's amazing work. And I just want to thank the students. So many in the back here are the students that are working on the farm this summer. Raise your hands, guys. Raise your hands. It's really wonderful. And they're learning all about agriculture, and they're learning how good a blueberry tastes when you grow it yourself. And it's really very inspiring. And coming from a rural part of our state, it's one of the great gifts we have as a state to have this access to agriculture, and to combine agriculture with small business job creation is a win-win for everyone. And what this also is doing is addressing one of the problems that I care a lot about, which is food deserts, when we have communities that don't have enough access to whole foods, fruits, and vegetables. And so to have our young people learn directly what it takes to have a fish farm, what it takes to grow fresh fruits and vegetables, is something that they will take with them wherever they go, because they're learning about how their bodies work, how food is grown and provided for, and the relationship between the two. So it's extremely exciting. As the mayor said, we are in a very tough economy. This is the #1 issue. No matter where I travel in the state, people are extremely worried. In the past 15 years, small businesses have generated 2/3 of all new jobs. So small business creation is the answer to our economic downturn. New York State is home to over 1.8 million small business owners who sustain nearly 4 million jobs in our state. In fact, our small businesses are responsible for half of all private sector jobs and roughly 70% of all new jobs in the past decade. So this is something that I am entirely focused on. We need to make sure that every business has access to capital. The biggest challenge I've heard, no matter where I've been in the state, is it's difficult to get a loan. Their credit lines have been discontinued, so we want to make sure we do that. So those are some of the things that we're working on right now in our small business jobs bill that we're working in the Senate right now. Tax extenders, tax credits, access to capital, and we can go through those with the press if you guys want to go through each detail. So right now I want to go through some of the economic ideas that we have to turn these businesses around. First, we have to support our entrepreneurs by incentivizing investment in small businesses. This legislation is going to eliminate the capital gains taxes on investments into small businesses, which will help attract capital for businesses to expand. It also expands the deduction for startup expenses to encourage new entrepreneurs. By lowering the cost to get a business started, we can give more entrepreneurs an opportunity to start a new business, hire workers, and be successful. Second, the legislation will invest in new initiatives to create more loans for small businesses. According to a recent survey by the National Small Business Association, 39% of small businesses are struggling with access to credit. This legislation would infuse over $30 billion into our community banks, which have a strong record of generating small business lending. The interest paid by the banks on this money would decrease the more small business lending they create and would increase if the banks fail to increase their small business lending. Additionally, the legislation will provide support for new and existing state lending programs, many of which have been forced to scale back these programs. This provision alone would generate more than $300 million of new small business lending in New York State. Third, the legislation will extend the fee waivers for the SBA loans. You know, a lot of people have been able to access the Small Business Administration Loan Program, but it's cumbersome and costly. And so one of the things that we're trying to change are those two aspects. So this will waive the fee and expand the loan limits and allow Small Business Administration to continue to guarantee up to 90% of new loans. Since these changes were passed right with the Recovery Act, they have significantly increased access for small businesses to lending by bringing more than 1,300 new lenders into the program. In fact, average weekly SBA lending has risen 90% because of these changes. Now more than ever, we have to ensure that we foster this entrepreneurial spirit that upstate New York and Western New York are known for. And to do that, we have to give our small businesses the tools they need to be successful. So those are the legislative priorities that we're focused on right now. Now, as you know, the Massachusetts Avenue Project provides entrepreneurial training for students so that they could develop, package, market, and distribute food products. These are just some of the products that are offered. But what this is a top-to-bottom learning experience for these young entrepreneurs to say, how do you create a project, in this instance, fruits, vegetables, and fish? Then how do you package it and market and sell it to a great store like Wegmans so the broader community can get it? And so this program is a perfect example of how we can invest in entrepreneurialism and innovation right in our communities with the next generation so they have great jobs this summer, but also the tools and the training they need to be small business owners in the future. So thank you so much for coming, and we'll all answer any questions you have. Did you want to speak?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, let's go ahead, Jordan. Okay. This is Jordan Velasquez, the Youth Enterprise employee. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. I'm Jordan Velasquez. I'm 17 years old, and I've been in the Youth Enterprise for a year now. Working in this Youth Enterprise has given me so many skills, from doing invoices to customer service calls, checking with our vendors to see if they have what they need from us, and also doing what we call the big analysis to see if we're going to sell a product and if it's going to make money. When we are coming up with our salad dressing now that a lot of people have been waiting for, we're working on that. So a lot of people are hoping for that. But just being in this youth enterprise has given me so many ideas on what I plan on doing and has opened up so many doors for my future plans. So I believe that this program would be good for not just me, but so many other youth. And I believe that small businesses that would hire youth and teach them more things like this would be way better programs in the state of New York and in Buffalo. So thank you.
Thank you.